The La Luna bar was famous for its flamenco nights, but its true magic began after midnight. Men would gather at the bar, sipping wine and throwing crude compliments at the dancer, whose name no one knew. She was Spanish, of unimaginable beauty, with hair as black as night and eyes that shone like stars, but they held a dark secret. Her movements were smooth, almost hypnotic. Every step, every fan flutter, every brush of her skirt seemed to make the air throb with tension. The men couldn't look away. They threw everything they had at her feet: money, car keys, even watches and jewelry. Their faces, once full of admiration, gradually dulled as if life was being drained from them. They went home, but not to their families. They left their wives, their children, sold their homes, just to return to La Luna again and again to see her dance. Their eyes glistened with a mad light, losing their minds, sacrificing everything for another moment near this mysterious woman. And then they simply vanished. One by one, the police found bodies but couldn't determine the cause of death. No signs of struggle, no injuries. Just cold, empty eyes and expressions of pure terror on their faces. One night, a young investigator named David entered the bar. He'd heard of the strange deaths and believed a serial killer was targeting wealthy men. But when he stepped inside and saw the dancer, something inside him faltered. Her beauty was unnatural, as if she glowed from within, but the light was dark, chilling the soul. She danced, and it seemed like the very air thickened, like syrup. David felt his mind start to fog. He wanted to stand, walk over, give her everything he had. But at the last second, he forced himself to look away. That saved him. The next morning, David began researching her history. The story he uncovered was ancient and terrifying. The woman's name had been Rosa. She was once married to a wealthy merchant who worshipped her beauty until he met another woman and abandoned Rosa with nothing. Broken by betrayal, she vowed revenge on all men who looked at women with lust. One night, in despair, she climbed a bridge, cursing all men, and jumped into the raging river below, but even death didn't bring her peace. Rosa became a ghost, returning each night to claim her due from those who dared to gaze upon her dance with desire. She drained their souls, squeezing out every last drop. David knew he had to go back to the bar and try to stop the curse. He realized that if he didn't look her in the eyes, he might survive. When he walked in, Rosa was already dancing. The men once again threw their money, staring mindlessly at her. He moved closer, keeping his head down, avoiding her gaze. David began whispering an ancient prayer he had found in the records. But then he felt a cold wind brush against his face. Rosa stopped dancing. She slowly turned toward him, and her icy voice cut through his mind. "You think you can stop me?" David stayed silent, not lifting his eyes. They all thought they could. But you're no different from the others. Like them, you are doomed. Rosa came closer, her breath chilling his skin. But David kept praying, feeling the cold sink deeper, wrapping around his heart. Suddenly, there was a distant crack, the sound of something long broken finally shattering into dust. Rosa stepped back, her figure beginning to fade. At the last moment, as she vanished, her eyes met his, and all he saw in them was deep, hopeless sorrow. When Rosa disappeared for good, the men in the bar snapped out of their trance, as if waking from a long dream. No one remembered what had happened, and the bar returned to the usual noises of the night. David stepped outside. The night was clear, but a shadow still lingered in the air, the remnants of the curse that had nearly consumed him.